We're going to begin tonight with the story of a solo mother of 2 children who says she's been broken mentally and physically by the Ministry for Social Development, which took her to the High Court arguing that a bank loan and a credit card should be classed as income. The woman, who has name suppression and can only be identified as Ms. F, went into debt to her bank, a finance company and her mother while she was on a benefit between 2005 and 2010. She says the debt was to make ends meet. But the Ministry of Social Development, upon finding out about those debts, classed them as income. Even though they were loans, MSD said Ms. F had to pay all the money back, more than $100,000 in total, because it believed she was overpaid her benefit. What followed, Ms. F says, was 8.5 years of hell until today. Finally, after 2 appeals, the High Court ruled in her favour: loans are not income. Here's Zach Fleming with Ms. F's story. We've distorted her voice to protect her identity.
This process broke me on many, many levels, and really negatively impacted me and my children, my family's life. Besides obviously being under the strain of it, I'd already been dealing with an abusive relationship for many years, and was just trying to do my best to keep my head above water with my kids and being a single parent and dealing with constant, harassment and issues by my ex-partner. And the WINZ just took that abuse to a whole nother level, and no matter what I did, I was met with this sort of tyrannical giant, and that just crushed me. There's only so long that you can keep fighting, and even though I had this sort of strong will and impetus to find out why they could even say I had earned income when I haven't, why this was happening to me, even though that was there, it broke me.
Both mentally and physically. It was an 8.5-year battle against the Ministry of Social Development, or what she calls
a Goliath, who had no interest in listening to me.
The ministry argued that bank loans, credit cards and loans from family constituted income. It said it overpaid Miss F, a solo mother of 2 on the benefit, by nearly $110,000 between 2005 and 2010 because she borrowed from her mother, a finance company and the bank to stay afloat.
No one can make ends meet on the benefit, especially when they have high living costs.
It started at the Benefits Review Committee, then it went to the Social Security Appeal Authority, which said bank loans weren't income, but family loans were. So MSD took it to the High Court, where they met a bewildered Frances Joychild QC.
To argue that bank loans, which clearly are documented and have to be repaid and are repaid, they were income as well. And if anyone had access to a bank loan, they shouldn't be accessing a benefit, which I thought was completely nonsensical, because you have to repay loans. You have to repay credit card and bank loans regularly.
Which is exactly what the judge said, right? He cited in very plain language that a bank loan is not income because you have to pay it back.
That's right. And what were they going to pay it back with if they didn't have a benefit? It just defied common sense, to tell you the truth.
Justice Paul Davison, in his judgment today, very plainly said loans and credit cards are not income because you have to pay them back. It's likely to have a wide-reaching impact, as Miss F is not the only beneficiary MSD has chased for money, arguing loans are income.
MSD needs to review all its debts that it's established against beneficiaries. I'm aware of at least one prosecution happening of a person because he didn't declare a loan. His lawyer contacted me.
Lawyer Catriona McLennan has a similar demand. She wants Minister for Social Development Carmel Sepuloni
to either withdraw all the cases MSD has got in the High Court at the moment pursuing beneficiaries for debts, or else to put them on hold while they have a thorough review of them. We don't know how widespread this problem is.
And the hope is that this case will not just have an impact now, but that it'll limit future cases. That's what Miss F says pushed her to fight for 8.5 years.
All of the other people who might not have had the will or the time or the understanding or the education or the resources or the energy to be able to question decisions, policies and practices.
But now that she's won, the question Frances Joychild says we should be asking is, should a solo mother of two have had to fight the Ministry of Social Development all the way to the High Court?
If they want to make a law change, they should do it through Parliament, not drag this woman through any more court cases. They always had that option of just changing the law and letting the people, Parliament, decide whether they wanted to make loans income for social security purposes, and I'm sure they would not have had any chance of getting it through.
MSD declined to be interviewed today, only saying it's studying the decision and considering its response. Miss F has lost faith in it to such an extent that she's almost convinced it will appeal.
I'm sure that they will go kicking and screaming. And I guess for me, I know that it's not the end of the road. So it's a little bit why this decision is challenging, because I suspect I'll probably have to go through more.
You primarily want change. Would you also like an apology? Would that mean anything to you at this point?
I would love to somehow add up the cost to myself and my family and have that returned to me. I don't think that's possible. But I would love to have an acknowledgement of the impact, the negative effect this has had upon my life, and an apology and some form of resolution that goes beyond just me, that means that this will never happen again to anyone else.
For Checkpoint, Zach Fleming.